day and welcome to the Auto Paycheck's payroll processing training. We're excited to introduce the software and the various advanced capabilities it offers. The areas of the system we'll cover today in training are configuring the time entry screens, entering hours and dollars information, available time entry overrides, additional entry options and double checks, the payroll preview reporting, and archive payroll reports. iSolved offers various ways that the payroll process can be configured to best suit your company's payroll processing procedures. Let's first look at the time entry options. We'll first go to our time entry templates, where you can create different templates to control the display of the time entry options by utilizing those templates. We have created a generic template for you and your company. But let's go over how to add a template. You'll click Add New and enter in a template description. This is a required field. You can configure the sort for your discretion up to 3 levels. The number of employees per page max out at 100 employees, but you can limit this further if you'd like. If you'll be overriding employees' workers' compensation based on their work state, you'll want to enable the Show Override Workers' Comp. And now you'll click Save. You'll need to specify the earnings that you'd like to display. And you can specify the order as well. Any frequently keyed items can be listed on the deduction or tax options as well. Be sure to save on each screen as you move through. iSolved also allows you to set threshold warnings on what you enter in payroll. The warning limits provide a flag on the time entry grid when an amount entered is greater than the limit that's listed. Key to note, this is a greater than statement only, not an equal to or greater than. We have some limits here set for this company. Be sure to save your settings as you navigate through. Now we'll go and enter in some of your payroll information by clicking to Payroll Entry and the Time Entry Grid. The Time Entry Grid operates much like a spreadsheet. You'll enter in the information by clicking into the cell itself to key your hours or dollars information. You can tab, enter from one row to the next, tab from one column to the next, or use your arrow keys to move from one cell to the next. Once you enter in information for an employee and enter, you'll see the information flash, and that's the commit information happening in each of those rows. There is not a save button in the payroll section of iSolved. It will automatically save that information. Alternate rates can be entered by using the paperclip right next to it, to the hours. You can either select from one of the rates listed that have already been pre-programmed or key in an override in the generic box. When you've selected an override rate, the cell will be highlighted in yellow. You can also elect to split pay onto 2 different lines by clicking Control and Enter at the same time. This will create 3 lines, a totals line and 2 lines for each of the information. Salaries are automatically paid unless marked with a block or if hours have been entered. All of the enter time and pay information can be reviewed on the entry reports available at the top of your entry grid. If additional overrides are required, they can be entered via the individual time entry. Under individual time entry, you can also view all available earnings and deductions, memos, or taxing for override. Also in individual time entry, you can enter in additional checks. These are used for bonus payments, out-of-sequence checks, and termination checks. Let's go ahead and look at the different check types available. We've clicked Add New in our navy blue action bar, and we can see the various check types available to select from. The most commonly used are the additional check, which will process with normal deductions and taxing, the additional check gross up, which will add the taxing to the gross wages for a preset net amount, and additional check no deductions, which deducts taxes only. Once you've selected your check type, if you'd like the check to be produced as a live paper check, you'll want to block the direct deposit. We'll go ahead and save for now, and we'll go over how to remove this entry. We're going to enter in some information on the employee's record. So very similar to that time entry grid, you simply enter in the time information in the appropriate cell. To preview your entry and print the check, you'll click on Preview Check in your navy blue bar. From here, you can either you'll enter in the check date, and either use the last check number on file or enter in your check number of choice. If you use the last check number on file, iSolved will detect the next check number in the sequence for your normal processing. Once that box is marked, you'll notice that you have only Print and Post and Print Stub available for processing. Print and Post will allow you to print a live check out of sequence from your normal payroll process. Once it is printed and the post confirmed, you will be unable to void or remove this check for security purposes. It's important to note that you ensure that the check has posted. Otherwise, iSolved will assume the check did not print and will process the check as an additional payment on your next normal payroll. We're going to stop here and remove this check. To do so, from the detail above, you'll click the big black X. You'll always see a regular check posted for your employees in their records. This is maintained on each regular payroll process. Additional payments can also be entered on the additional check entry grid. Here you can enter in additional payments for all of your employees in mass. This is super handy for the year-end bonuses. Your hours and dollars entries can also be imported using the time card import tool. If you'd like additional information on this, please work with your implementation specialist on the potential import. If you have preset distributions, they can be entered on the labor on the labor entry grid for distribution of wages across different fields. iSolved also has some great double-check tools available to you, including a pre-built control total. Here, iSolved will total up any keyed items, and you can compare your keyed item, your controlled paper time cards, against these keyed controlled totals. If there is a discrepancy, iSolved will calculate the difference for you. You can also drill down to see how the totals are accumulated and filter by organizational value. Once your payroll information has been entered and your totals verified, you can proceed to the close pay period. To review your payroll process, all of the payroll reports that we'll finalize with your payroll are available to you in preview. There are 6 reports we recommend reviewing prior to payroll processing. For the most part, they are at-a-glance reports. To run the reports, you will click on the magnifying button, and each time you make a change to the payroll data, you will need to re-preview the reports for them to update. The reports to review are the first 4 reports, and the 2 special exceptions reports. Let's start with the payroll summary. This is a great report that will give you the payroll totals, including the ACH funding required for the payroll and the collection date. We collect in 2 separate pulls, one that is for taxes alone, and one that is for your direct deposit and invoice. This report also drills down to the taxing breakdown, employer tax expense, and gross earnings and deductions. The next report to review is the payroll register. This is the report that you'll most want to review in detail. This report will show you the gross to net of each employee's check. It will also list if employees are receiving direct deposit or a paper check. Next is the employee change log. In addition to viewing the changes on the employee changes in employee management, there is a report which will run with each payroll. Here you'll want to verify that all of the required changes for payroll have been done, as well as any new employees that you did not authorize are not included. There are no strange direct deposit account changes to your records as well. The next report to review is your exceptions report. This will show any standard exceptions. For example, paying a terminated employee, or employees that have insufficient pay to take their deductions. The next 2 report the exceptions invalid tax ID and exceptions tax variances should return back no data. If either report returns back information, you'll want to stop payroll processing and contact our office. The cause of the exception is fixable, but it is much easier to fix prior to payroll processing rather than after. Once you have verified that all of your reports and entries are correct, you can click the Process Payroll button. iSolved will ask you to confirm enter the review of your reports, and then you can proceed to the process. From here, your payroll will self-actualize and the reports will be available within minutes under the reporting. To access your finalized reports, you'll click to Reporting and Reports Archive. Here, your reports are available for view or download on an individual basis. You can also view a downloaded combined version of these reports under the Continuous Reports Archive. If you have checks to be printed, you'll be able to access them under the Check Print Back. Here, a secure check file will be available, and the number of checks to be printed will be listed under the page number. You'll want to load your blue Auto Paychecks check stock in your printer and then click the Print button here in iSolved. A special note, the button can only be clicked once. If you do need to reprint the checks, we will need to have a signed waiver that Auto Paychecks is not liable for your checks cashed twice. There are many other reports available to you under the My Reports. And additional information on the available reports will be covered during your separate reports training. The items we've covered today include the following: configuring your time entry screen, entering hours and dollars information in Payroll, your available time entry overrides, the additional entry options and double checks, payroll preview reporting, and the archive payroll report. This will conclude our training today on payroll processing. To schedule additional training, please contact Auto Paychecks at 970-245-4244. For any questions or concerns, please feel free to email us at info@autopaychecks.com. Thank you and have a great day.